Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the American Nightmare Podcast. This is episode 65, recorded Wednesday, August 24th, 2023.
Woo!
Woohoo! All right.
Yeah.
August. Oh my God. Summer just blew right by, didn't it?
It's almost
Yeah,
September.
and I got to tell you, August here in Pennsylvania feels like it's like October.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Really? It's cold?
It was like, I think it's like 68 today.
Well, that's what it is right now. It's 67 degrees right now. Yeah.
But I don't think it got much warmer than that throughout the day. Maybe 70?
No, it was cloudy and rainy. Yeah, but
Well,
yeah.
we've been in the low 80s almost every day, and starting next week, we're gonna have a couple days in the 90s, which is gonna suck. A little bit of a heat wave.
yeah.
It was kind of funny because last week we had that hurricane blow through the West Coast here.
Yeah.
And it was funny how people were all panicky and stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's not gonna be like the
No.
East Coast hurricanes.
That
man.
water will sink right into the ground in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Now the thing is, out here there were landslides, mudslides, the whole mess in the desert because most of the rain went inland, and Palm Springs is a mess. Like,
Yeah.
I was watching videos of Palm Springs, like, damn, that sucks. Here we got like 3 inches of rain, which was a lot, but there was like hardly any wind.
We get
I'm
some
like, this is
sriracha
nothing,
back,
man.
hopefully. With all that
Right.
rain, we can get some sriracha.
Some peppers growing back there again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying to one of the guys that lives here in California that I'm friends with, I'm like, dude, Hurricane Sandy, when that hit the East Coast, it knocked down
Aw,
5
damn.
trees in my yard, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It took off siding off my house.
Yep.
Yeah, that one was a doozy.
I got a new roof, eh?
Nice. All right. Let's get talking about horror news. Toxic Avenger remake unveils its first image of Peter Dinklage and some teaser art. Although Peter Dinklage is in shadows, you really don't get to see him.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of bummed out when I saw that. I was like, you can't really see him. You just see the shadow of him.
It's truly a teaser because you're like, damn
It's
it,
a teaser
can't see
teaser.
anything. Right. I did read up a little bit on him. Like, wow, Kevin Bacon is going to be the primary villain. That's kind of cool. I didn't say what character
yeah.
he plays, but that's kind of cool. But they say the Toxic Avenger remake was filmed in Bulgaria. Troma's Lloyd Kaufman and Michael Hertz produced with Legendary Entertainment. The film received an R rating for strong violence and gore, language throughout, and sexual references and brief graphic nudity. Yeah, all right.
Yes.
The gore, it says the gore includes a moment that has been referred to as the butt guts scene.
Oh.
Not sure what that is, but it sounds awful.
Oh, my. Sounds like Human Centipede.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Maybe some prolapse
Human Centipede.
action.
Listen, Human Centipede 2 was really, really the creme de la creme of that whole series.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, we have different tastes, you and I.
All right. Prey is getting a 4K and Blu-ray and DVD release in October. So Disney apparently said, you know what? All this shit that we have on the streaming service, we need to find other ways to make money from it because we are not making enough by just streaming it. So they released a whole slew of streaming shows now coming out on Blu-ray and DVD, including some of the
Yeah, but
movies
it's
that
all the
released
same crap.
exclusively to
They
streaming.
It's all the same crap.
Yeah, but for people who don't stream it, or for people like Sal who don't stream but want like hard copies of stuff, rather than
I
downloading
love hard copies of stuff. So for me, I'm buying the 4K version of Prey. Prey was a fantastic film.
For sure.
I have my Alien collection. I have my Predator collection. I'm gonna gladly add this to my Predator collection. The cool thing is a bunch of bonus features, including the making of Prey, step-by-step behind-the-scenes cast and crew exploring the different genesis of the project. There's an alternative opening scene that's available in the Blu-ray edition. A bunch of deleted scenes, a bunch more deleted scenes, and full audio commentary with Dan Trachtenberg and Amber Mindhunter. So I'm kind of interested in hearing. I love listening to the commentaries because you often learn shit. Like in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, Sam Raimi gave all kinds of great information that I was like, wow, that's awesome to know. So being a movie fan, I'm game for it. A couple years ago, exactly. A couple years ago, we talked a little bit about the Salem Lot remake and how it was being worked on, but apparently this thing is sitting on a shelf at Warner Brothers, fully completed, just not getting released.
Huh.
And there's no real information as to why this delay is happening. According to Joe Blow, there is no information as to why this is sitting on the shelf. It's had at least 2 test readings, by the way. I saw one of them. I remember we talked about that. Just it's completed its post-production steps. Everyone was expecting it to come out. It's on a shelf. Why?
Weird.
Don't know.
I just wonder why studios do certain things sometimes.
Yeah, and you know what the problem is? If the federal government allows write-offs and shit, like you saw what happened when what's his name came in to HBO Max, fucking bought HBO and decided to like not release Batgirl and not release this and pull all these things off of streaming. Suddenly they're gone because it's like, oh, we get a tax break. We can say that it's a loss and we get money. Like the federal government should allow that shit.
No, yeah.
If
well,
you
but
decide to throw the film away. Yeah.
They're getting paid. They're getting paid by those people, though. So,
right, and famously, one of the movies that was once shelved for at least 3 years before it came out was, do you know, what is a big, great movie that we all love that was shelved for 3 years before it came out?
Barbie.
Idiocracy.
Wait,
sat on the shelf for 3 years before it came out. Yep.
Wow, I didn't know that. That is a great movie.
Yeah. It is a fantastic fucking movie, but they shelved it for 3 years like a bunch of idiots. It almost never came out.
It's a good thing it did because it was very prophetic.
Yeah, I was very excited for Salem's Lot. I really hope that Warner Brothers, gets their shit together and decides to fucking release this. Again, Warner Brothers, the same company that owns HBO Max, is Time Warner, whatever the fuck. That schmuck that bought them and is canceling everything. If he cancels
too,
this
right?
one, I'm just gonna.
They own DC.
Yeah, I might just. Yeah, I might just fly to the guy's house and kick him in the balls.
It's funny. Wasn't there a South Park episode where they did that to George Lucas?
Yes, and I loved it, and that's what needs to happen to all these movie producers. You pull something dumb, you deserve a good kick in the fucking balls.
Rochambeau.
Right. Creepshow Season 4 gets an October premiere date. Woo!
Nice. Some of the
little
teasers.
Not only... Yes. Set to premiere not only on Shudder, but on AMC Plus streaming service also.
Oh, really?
And on the AMC... Yes, and on AMC's linear cable channel on Friday, October 13th. Woo! Friday the 13th. Yeah!
Sweet.
Listen, the last couple seasons of Creepshow have been great. I can't wait to see this one.
For sure. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Good stuff.
Solid storylines in most cases, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And they released those 2 specials, too, that were really good.
Yeah, they were good.
The
Christmas one was one that I really liked.
Yeah.
That was the animated one, right? Was that the animated one, or was it the last Halloween?
Yeah,
one?
they were all animated. There's, I think, 3 shorts, and they were all animated.
Fucking great. Yeah, loved them.
That guy who ended up eating himself, and then that family and
dude.
Oh yeah, the guy eating himself was insane.
Yeah. That was the good one. Yeah, that was good. I like the fact that they do that as animation. It's one of those things that I bitch about with the Marvel universe too. Is like if you're trying to create a scenario where an actor can play the same character for the next 20 years. It doesn't really work in real life. They age too much. Yeah. It's too much work to try and get an actor to be available. If it's just voice acting, you can animate them to look the same all the time. That would be fucking great. Some things deserve animation. I know there's a lot of people out there go, animation is for kids. I don't think so. I think it works fine for adult material too.
Well, that's why when they
just look at heavy metal.
That's why when they talked about doing Ash vs. Evil Dead as an animated series, I was all like pumped. I'm like, yeah, because Bruce Campbell still wants to do it. He just can't. He can't physically do it anymore.
Yeah, he's in his fucking 60s. Of course he can't.
Yeah. I mean,
you can't do slapstick when you're in your 60s, man.
Yeah, I'm hoping they really do that because that'll be awesome.
I hope they do that too. Do. All right. Marvel has announced Capwolf and the Howling Commandos for this October. This is a 4-issue series that will be Captain America transformed into a werewolf in the front lines of World War II. You know what? The minute I read this story, I started thinking right away of the Rob Zombie Nazi werewolves of the SS. Do you remember that fake trailer thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, I really wish that would come out already. That would be fucking awesome if they would make that a movie. But that's what made me think of this. So they're in this storyline is going to be a mini series of Captain America transformed into werewolf in the front lines of World War II. He'll need the help of the Howling Commandos, which is his team, but now they're actually fucking wolves, and take down a band of Nazi cultists who intend to use the supernatural forces to turn the tide of battle in World War II. But can Cap control the skeptical jaded commandos when he can barely control himself? On sale October 11th.
Wait, I mean, it sounds kind of like Hydra, right? Wasn't Hydra like a Nazi cultish kind of?
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds pretty sweet.
All right. Zombie Town, R.L. Stine movie starring Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase, gets a September release. Zombie Town has been given a PG-13 rating and some language and bloody images. A Quiet Town is upended when a 12-year-old Mike and his friend Karen see a horror movie called Zombie Town and unexpectedly see the title characters leap off the screen and chase them through the theater.
Trailer looks fun.
Sounds interesting.
I watched the trailer.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it definitely looks like R.L. Stine, you know, and it definitely looks PG-13, but it looks fun.
What do you think? Some of the shit that R.L. Stine did, which is those 3 Netflix movies that we all love so much. That's an R.L. Stine story.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, what was that other one? There was another one too, not too long ago that he released. I'm like, oh shit, that was a pretty good fucking movie too. I don't remember what it was. Was it a show or a movie? I don't know. But he does write some pretty decent shit.
Having Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase together would be pretty cool.
Chevy Chase is he's up there in age. He's getting a little fucking senile.
Yeah, you can tell just like when he talks. He's
well, I watched him on that fucking what's that fucking talk show that the guy on HBO Saturday nights
Bill Maher,
the political guy.
Bill Maher.
He has Bill Maher. Bill Maher has a separate podcast that he does out of his place here in LA.
Oh.
And he had Chevy Chase in there, and all I kept thinking is Chevy Chase is not mentally well.
Really?
Yeah. Like the whole interview, I'm just thinking he's not in a good state of mind. I don't know that he should really be appearing anywhere anymore.
Interesting.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, Marvel is releasing Marvel What If Dark, The Tomb of Dracula. It's a one-shot, part of the What If series, but over the past couple months they've been doing What If Dark, so it's a dark-sided story of the What If storyline, and this one is the Dark Tomb of Dracula. What if our good man Blade was killed by Dracula?
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. Blade co-creator Marv Wolfman returns to Marvel Comics horror in What If Dark Tomb of Dracula #1. Announced this week, industry legend Marv Wolfman will be returning to Marvel Comics in November for What If Dark Dracula #1. The alternate cover, which is one that I posted to our Facebook group, is the Daughter of Dracula. Really nice artwork. I forget who drew that one. There's a couple alternate covers that are coming out, but that looks pretty fucking cool.
Right.
Some of the Marvel horror is pretty fucking gory. The last thing I was just reading was the Weapons of Vengeance, which is Wolverine and Ghost Rider, and the bad guy in there is Demon Bear, but he possessed a little kid, and every time the kid gets frightened, and he kills everybody, and when they show up in the crime scene, all the bodies are like morphed into a sculpture of body parts. It's pretty fucking gory. The artwork is pretty gory, and I really like it.
That last one of the last X-Men with the new batch, I think it was called. That was kind of
the New Mutants. Yeah, that had Danny Moon Knight with Demon Bear in it, but it was a shitty version of Demon Bear.
Yeah, but that was a little dark for sure.
It was pretty dark. Yeah, but it wasn't awesome. It did have Ilyana Rasputin in it, one of my favorite mutants. All right, that is all that I have for news. What do you guys got? Anything extra?
Yeah, I've been loving the new season of What We Do in the Shadows. Like that show just seems to like.
Oh my god,
keeps getting better. It keeps getting better. The last episode, I was on the floor. I was on the frickin' floor, man, with the different Guillermos.
Dude, and you know what? It didn't look that bad, so they must have spent a decent amount of money on those computer effects, but the fucking rat was the fucking...
The best was when he was laying on the floor and the rat ran up and started fucking his ear. I lost it, man. I freaking lost it.
Dude. First of all, it was funny as fuck, but second of all, it was fucking disturbing.
Yeah.
Like, I just kept thinking, man, that's fucking disturbing. His face on every one of those creatures.
Yeah, and Laszlo just wanted him to kill them all, and he didn't want to kill them. It's a great
season. The fish
season.
was the fish was fucking gross, and he kept the fish at the end.
That show, seriously, it's great. Like
absolutely fantastic. The comedy is awesome too. I love when when Laszlo says they were talking about the hairy frog, and he's the only hairy frog I want to see is the one between your legs. And then she goes, "Don't you worry, baby. It's not just the hairy frog; it's the whole bloody swamp." And he goes, "You know it."
Yes. Is this for real?
Such a great show.
I fucking love
Bravo
it.
FX for that because I mean it's 5 seasons
and
in.
the fact that they're still going, 5 seasons in is just fucking great. It keeps getting better.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's all I have. I just wanted to say that I've been really enjoying What We Do in the Shadows.
What We're Doing in the Shadows, yeah. Very good.
Yep.
Okie dokie. What we got now is 5 flicks, which we got Craig picking 5 films from a streaming service.
Yeah, I picked Amazon Prime this month.
Oh.
They got a ton of good stuff on there. Ton of good stuff right now. No specific order. They have the old Tales from the Dark Side.
Oh, nice.
Movie.
Great flick.
Christian Slater and Steve Buscemi.
Do love that one. Love that one.
Yeah, those are good stories for sure.
For sure.
Knock at the Cabin is on there. Also.
I liked that. I thought that was a good M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah, he's hit or miss for sure.
Definitely.
It was a good one. Smile. I don't know if you guys saw Smile.
I have not seen it yet.
Dude, Smile's a great film.
I haven't seen it.
It's a great film.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad that I didn't go see it in the theaters because it probably could have used the extra support,
surprised.
you know?
Shockingly surprised.
Now I'm going to have to watch it.
Yeah.
Definitely worth watching. Not a waste of your time.
Yeah, no, it's really good. The Fog.
Ah,
Classic.
nice.
Oh, I fucking love that one too.
Yep.
I just got that one on 4K.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah.
Classic.
Another classic that I had to add.
Run, Sweetheart, Run.
Oh,
really good vampire.
Yeah, it is. I loved that.
Have you seen that
one?
No, Sal, if you haven't seen, that's another one you have to watch.
Yeah, the guy who plays the well, you don't really know he's a vampire at first, but the guy who plays him, he was the asshole pirate in Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, I did not see this one.
Oh,
I'm gonna
man.
add it to my list right now.
Yeah, put it on your
Excellent,
list.
excellent movie.
This week.
I think it came out last year,
Yeah, it's really
and it was like a Prime exclusive.
Yeah.
Nice. Very good. Nice list.
Yep.
Nice
Good
list.
stuff. That's why I said
All
they
right.
got a lot of good movies on right now. Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that's awesome. The funny thing is with Amazon Prime, you get that service, because I have Amazon Prime for the shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
but the fact that you get these movies with it
It's a
is pretty
bonus.
awesome. And every now and then there's some really great shit up there.
I use it too
It's a
for
bonus,
streaming
yeah.
shit that like I want to watch, but I can't get for free yet. Like, you know, it's like renting $3.99 a movie for $3.99 at like Redbox or some shit like that. So I just rent it on. You know, if I just want to check it out and not own it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Nice list.
All right. Now we move on to our top 5. And it's top 5 aquatic horror films.
I'm surprised we didn't do this.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, it's kind of a blend over of a couple other
like
ones, right?
vacation
'Cause
movies,
aquatic
summer
you're saying-
movies.
Yeah, your vacation, summer, like we're gonna have a lot of overlap here, is what I'm realizing when I looked at this. But what I did do is I kind of honed in a little bit on things that I didn't pick in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That are
me
good
too.
movies that take
Me
place
too.
in or underwater,
Yeah.
right?
I did the same thing. And there's a lot of good ones. A lot of good ones.
This month it is Craig, Sal, Chris.
Alrighty.
All right. Here we go. Number 5, I went with The Abyss.
Nice.
It's a good one. 90s flick.
Yeah, Ed Harris.
The special effects in that one were way ahead of its time. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
I forget who directed that one or who did the special effects,
That
but it was one of the.
James Cameron.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
wasn't it?
There you go. That's
believe
right.
you're right, yeah.
That's right. That's right. It was James Cameron, because I remember
I
him
think he
talking
wrote-
about.
I think he wrote
the-
and directed. Wrote and directed, I think.
Yeah, because I remember him talking about the water. You know, the water scene. You know, the long stream of water. How hard it was to make that, but he used the technology from that to do Terminator 2's liquid metal guy.
Cool.
So it was kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Like you said, that effects was that water.
It was
stuff.
Bleeding
Yeah.
Edge was ahead of its time for
Mind-blowing.
sure.
When you saw it, you're like, whoa, that's so
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely.
Indeed.
Okay, number 4, sort of an odd one, but like you said, Sal, I sort of was just reaching for stuff I haven't talked about. I think this might have come up a few times, but I went with Creepshow 2. Not for the whole movie, but they had that...
The
The
raft.
raft. That was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
raft.
raft is like the fucking best
Oh
one.
man, I still like
I
get,
know.
like thinking about that gives me the chills. That
Yeah.
big ass
Yeah.
sludge
Yeah,
thing.
So I guess it qualifies, right? It's not the whole movie, but it's the story called The Raft.
Yeah, that counts. Yeah, it definitely counts, man. Definitely counts.
Yeah. Okay, number 3, I went with The Fog. We were just speaking about The Fog.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. That I mean, it's about a ghost ship full of ghost like sailors
On the
and shit.
water,
Yeah,
The fog comes off the water.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
they
good
go
one.
out on the water.
I didn't even think to
Yeah.
add that one. Good one.
Yep. Number 2, I went with Crawl.
Nice.
I remember we did that one on one of our episodes with the.
That was a nice ad because I
Yeah.
wouldn't have watched that movie otherwise. So I was glad that we picked that.
Sam Raimi flick too.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, take a wild guess. With Jaws.
As I say,
Jaws.
Jaws. Jaws it is, number 1.
nice. Yeah.
I got a bunch of honorable mention, but I don't want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to spoil.
No, do them.
There was a movie called Deep House.
I remember that was on
I
one
don't
of your
know.
other lists, wasn't it? Like a year or two ago.
Yeah, and it's actually on Amazon Prime also right now.
I've seen the trailer. I just haven't seen it yet. I haven't watched the movie yet.
Pretty good. Dead Calm. It's not really a horror.
Oh,
it's
that's a good
more
one
of a
though.
thriller.
Billy Zane. And
Yeah.
Billy Zane and Sam Neill. I mean, anytime you get one of those guys in a movie, I'm definitely into it. But yeah, I mean, it's about a thriller, but it's a horror.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I got 2 more, but I think they might be on somebody else's list, so I'll leave it at that. For
Yeah,
now.
if you want to, I mean, you could say them.
No, go ahead.
All right, let me get to my top 5. My top 5 for this. Again, I kind of thought about movies that I enjoyed over the years that were. I didn't want to pick my usuals, although you will hear some usuals on here. All right, my number 5, Creature of the Black Lagoon, has to be one of the first
Yeah.
horror movies. I remember when I was in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the 6th grade, and they had a special night on a Friday night after school where they did Creature of the Black Lagoon in 3D.
Yeah, I remember that.
And we all got the paper 3D glasses. We all met up at school with our friends and sat down to watch Creature of the Black Lagoon. I was like, man, this is fucking scary. I can't believe how great this movie is. You know,
Yeah.
and that was in the 80s, bro. It was
Yeah, and it was on like broadcast television. It was cool, cool as shit.
Dude. And the thing about it is, it's part of my 4K collection. I actually have Universal Monsters 4K collection, which has that movie in the collection. And I watched it not too long ago. It's a pretty decent movie still to this day, I'd say. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't have a 3D TV, so it's not 3D for me, but yeah. My number 4, Deep Star 6.
It's a good one. Another 90s.
It wasn't a fantastic film, but it was definitely had some pretty cool special effects. I remember going to the theater to watch it and thinking, this is pretty cool.
That had good practical monster in it.
Yep.
Sure.
My number 3, which is a bit of a Jaws ripoff, Deep Blue Sea. I saw that one. I saw that one.
I remember that.
I saw that one in 3D. I saw it in 3D and had Samuel L. Jackson in it. But I remember seeing it in 3D. It was pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't think I've seen it, but I remember that one being out in the theater.
Yeah. My number 2 is the first Creepshow movie. The story where they bury the guy and the wife up to the neck.
Ted Danson.
And let the water come
Ted Danson, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that who got buried?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Leslie Nielsen was the bad guy.
Yeah,
Nielsen,
that was a good one. Yeah. And the water just kept coming in.
No, that was awesome.
Yeah, that's funny that you guys both had a creep show.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I just remember that was one of those movies where it was on HBO when I first saw it.
Oh God, I watched it every time it was on.
Well, I did too, but then my mom was dating this guy, and he lived down the street in the town I lived in, and he was the only person I knew with a giant big screen TV. And back then it was those projection TVs.
Oh,
like
yeah,
it was kind of
yeah.
Yeah, it was huge. It was fucking huge, but I watched it on that, and it was fucking terrifying as ever. As a kid watching Creepshow on a giant, big screen projection TV, it was pretty crazy.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And then my number 1, as always,
Jaws.
Jaws.
Nice.
Jaws, always Jaws. I have 2 honorable mentions. I've added Under the Skin, which really wasn't. The only thing that was aquatic about that was the black liquid that she made the men disappear. And have you watched that at all?
I don't think I know that one.
It's on my list to watch. I haven't seen it.
It's a fucking great movie. It's really good.
Yeah, it's what's her face? It's
Scarlett Johansson. She plays
Scarlett
an alien.
Johansson. Yeah.
And she acts as a prostitute and like captures these men, and they like drift away into this black ooze like water, and then like they disappear. Their insides disappear from their skin. It's like fucking weird.
Where does the black ooze come from? Like
I have
her,
that in
her
here.
lady parts, or
It's like another dimension. She takes them into like some other dimension. It's fucking weird. Yeah. And then one of my other honorable mentions is Prophecy. That's from the 70s.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's the one with the mutated bear. It's like a warning of what happens when you destroy the environment with toxic chemicals. And there was this whole scene on a lake where this mutant bear and her 2 mutant babies like fucking kill a bunch of people.
I don't think I know that one either.
It's pretty wild. It's a classic 70s film. It's kind of a B movie, but it had a lot of stars in it. I'm trying to think like who was in it. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was one that I talked about with my friends, just a couple of years ago, saying, "Hey man, do you remember that movie Prophecy?" Like, because I have a DVD copy of it that I found at a fucking auction, like probably about 10 years ago. That I keep telling people, I'm like, I don't remember that. And yeah, it was a decent movie. It scared the crap out of me as a kid.
nice,
And that's it. That's what I got.
awesome. All right, my top 5. I'm gonna go. My number 5 is The Meg. I'm a fan of Jaws. It's kind of like a knockoff, but just bigger and like more B movie-ish, and just like it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie.
The Meg 2. The Meg 2 is coming.
I heard it. Actually, I think
I think that
it came out a few weeks ago. I think it did pretty good too.
Oh,
yeah.
Did it?
is it called Black Demon? I think that's out on.
Yeah, Black Demon
Amazon
actually just
right now,
started
too.
streaming, and I thought that looked good too. I haven't seen it yet though.
That's on Amazon too. It's getting good reviews.
Yeah.
I think, but,
So the Meg's is a fun, shark movie. Number 4 is Triangle, which was a 2009 movie about the Bermuda Triangle, and it was psychological. It was a psychological horror that blew my mind. Had Liam Hemsworth in it, and I forget who the girl was, but a bunch of people are out on like a yacht, and their yacht capsizes, and they're like out in the sun for a couple days, and then a big ocean liner comes by, and they think they're saved, and they get on this ocean liner, and shit gets like really weird. Really good fucking movie. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend checking out Triangle. Number 3 is a fairly new one, Underwater. It was the one that came out like 2 years ago with Kristen Stewart in it. It's very claustrophobic. Action kicks off like almost right away, and the end, like the last half hour, like you thought you knew you'd seen all of the horror, and then they just like shock you with what it ends with. I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah.
Number 2 has been on a bunch of my lists, and actually it's going to be 2A and 2B. Piranha 3D, which is like it's such a great movie. But I've decided to also honor the original Piranha by Joe Dante from 1978, which was also a great comedy knockoff of Jaws. It's just that there wasn't as much nudity and stuff in it as Piranha 3D was. But
I just rewatched that not too long ago.
you know what?
Piranha.
One of the things I was thinking of as a top 5 list we could do would be top 5 Joe Dante movies, because he's got a pretty good like collection of movies that include like horrors. I mean, you could probably name about like 8 or 9 Joe Dante, whether he directed it or produced it. So that might be a good one for down the road. And my number 1 is Jaws. You may not have heard of it, but it's Jaws. And then I got a couple honorable mentions. Creature from the Black Lagoon, which was on, I think, both your lists, right? You both have it in there somewhere?
No,
it was on Craig's.
And my other one is Crawl, which I like.
I should have had Crawl on my list because that was a pretty decent film. We went to see that when it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
So that's my list.
Nice. Very good. All right. Another top 5 list in the bag.
Who the fuck are you?
All right. Let's get to our movie review. The movie picked this month was picked by... The movie of the month is Aquarium of the Dead. This was released in 2021. It's got a 58% user score on the movie database. And it is a horror action comedy, an hour and 26 minutes. A little bit of facts and numbers with this thing. So we got directed by a gentleman by the name of Glenn Miller, not to be confused with the Glenn Miller Band.
Musician and his orchestra.
Starring Vivica A. Fox. Yeah, maybe. Starring Vivica A. Fox at the ripe young age of 59 and only one face job with that one. And some interesting factoids. While I'm watching this movie, I'm going, wait a minute. That's the fucking Long Beach Aquarium. And sure as shit, the stand-in for the Shining Star Aquarium is the Long Beach Aquarium.
They shot it during the pandemic, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. And the only shot that wasn't Long Beach is when they do the aerial shot of the bay. That's actually a bay in San Diego. That's a...
I recognize the walkway there too, Sal. Yeah, because we went... That was my last
dude,
date
the fountain with the dolphins. That's fucking right there at Long Beach, right outside of there. So
that was pretty cool to see that,
Yeah. I was like, well, the thing is, I see Long Beach in almost every fucking TV show that I watch now. Because I'm so used to like the locations, and now I see, look at there's City Hall. Oh, look at there's the convention center. Oh, look, there's the aquarium. Yeah.
So
well, they were filming something when we were there too, weren't they?
Another thing about this movie is part of a trilogy. with zombies, which I watched a while back, and I can't remember what the second movie is, but this is the third movie by the same company that made those other two.
Right, Megalodon Rising was the other one.
Okay, yeah. And I like zombies.
And Zombies 2, which is the sequel to Zombies.
I didn't know they made a sequel.
Yes, they did. I didn't think they would have wanted to spend the money on it, but they did.
You must not have spent much.
Yes. No, not really. Let me see. So this is an action, comedy, horror, sci-fi thriller. It is the third film in the Zombies trilogy, as we talked about. They have Zombies 1, Zombies 2, and this one, which is the Aquarium of the Dead. It says here that they had some budget for a bit of a soundtrack there, it looks like. It was released May 21st, 2021. And the filming locations were in San Diego, California, and Long Beach, California. All the outdoor scenes were Long Beach, California, right at the Pike. You can see the Pike Outlets and Restoration Hardware building behind them in a couple of scenes.
Yep.
It was a funny. I mean, it wasn't overly it says a comedy, but it wasn't that funny. There were a couple lines in it that I wrote down here.
The two guys
kind of funny.
The two guys together, the black guy and the hippie guy.
Yeah.
Anytime those two guys
When
were on
they
the
were
screen,
outside.
they were funny. They were funny. Like they were good.
Because they were talking about those sharks, and the guy says something about, they got 12 serrated teeth on the upper jaw and 11 on the lower jaw. You definitely don't want to catch these bad boys taken up in a tornado.
And he's like,
and the black guy goes, what?
What does that mean?
He was, it's like it was a little jab there at Sharknado.
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, those two were pretty good. Like when they had them on screen together. Like I thought they were funny. For a B movie, I was expecting a bit more, over the top stuff.
It really wasn't.
No,
it really wasn't. It tried to take itself a little too seriously, I think, because number one, when you think about a comedy horror that's a B movie and has a low budget, right?
Yeah,
you're thinking it's gonna be like over the top gore,
right?
Probably a lot of practical effects that are a little bit cheesy but bloody and gory. It was none of that.
Or just bad jokes too. Usually there's like bad jokes,
but at least things that make you laugh and go, that's fucking ridiculous. You're right. But there wasn't a lot of that.
Yeah, like every time there could have been a scene with gore in it, like where they were smashing like the crabs, or where they were stomping on the starfish, or they turned away,
or
they turned away. They went away from it. I'm like, well, this is where you should be, like guts all over the place and blood flying, and And then the other thing too is there was only two people that died the entire movie. There was those first two guys who got beat up by that octopus.
Right.
They were the only ones that died. I'm like, so
that's it.
Yeah. Well, no, the one.
Which was also they panned away from that. They panned away from the.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about it too is like there were a couple moments from like, this could be awesome. Like the scene where they're trapped in the hallway of the aquarium, and you see the zombie walrus coming down one way, the zombie croc coming down the other way, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a
carnage,
fucking bloodbath.
Carnage.
Nobody died. Nobody died. The fucking gator walks by and they kind of back up and walk past them. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
No,
it was funny when they showed those CGI gators. Like it was the same,
and it wasn't even at that scene.
CGI gator. Every time they showed it, it was the same movements. It was like I was like,
and the same location.
They keep showing him walking the same exact way every time they show that fucking gator. Like I was like, how much did they spend on the CGI for this? Because it was just on loop.
Well, and I think that's the thing. They must have blown their entire budget on that CGI because first
they spent it on Vivica A. Fox.
No,
they spent it on Vivica A. Fox.
You think?
Yeah,
I think so.
All I know is if they would have spent the budget in a better place, I think it could have been
like
a great
practical
B
effects.
Movie. It was the listen. The storyline of shit had the potential of being something fucking maybe even being like a B movie fucking cult.
Yeah,
classic.
like Piranha.
It could have been something
like something
great
along those lines. Like like I thought, like when all those starfish came at them, I'm like, this is a great, like someone getting like mauled by starfish would be just like stupidly funny and over the top. And they played off it a little bit, but then
Well, even the scene where the black guy and the other dude with the beard getting attacked by the king crab outside on the ship.
Yeah.
By the way, that ship is at the port down here.
nice.
Over by
It's not the Queen Mary, is it?
San Pedro. No, it's a warship. It's a Navy warship. It's by the Navy base in
Battleship.
But I'm like, that was a great scene, right? The thing jumps in his face, it's attacking him. You could tell that the computer graphics was shit because the guy's on the ground going, and get it off of me, and it doesn't even look like
he's
it's
got like a
interacting with
bruise.
him.
He's got a bruise on his
Well, the
forehead,
funny
and
thing
then
is,
just
too,
like this one cut in his
Yeah.
eye. I'm like, where did? What?
Yeah, but that was after like they panned away, and then all of a sudden they came back.
Right,
and,
because
like,
when he was on the ground, he
No,
wasn't
so
injured.
it's-
It was when they pan away and they come back.
That's what I'm saying. They like panned away and they showed him again, and all of a sudden,
Yeah,
he's got,
all of a
like,
sudden
shit
he's
on
got
his
two
face.
black and blue marks and a gash on his head. It's
And,
like,
and
what?
from that gash, he lost a lot of blood because he had to stop a little bit later on. He's like, "Well, man, you lost a lot of blood." I'm like,
And
"From
what-
where?"
It was funny too. That one,
Dude, but here,
Go
the
ahead.
one scene you could
go ahead.
tell they put
Yeah.
the same scar on the guys. It was like the exact same
Exactly.
makeup.
Yeah.
It was like out of a
Exactly.
package.
So you had
Like, it
one
was the
guy who
same
knew how to
shape
do
and
like
everything. I
one
was
like
like-
cut. He's like, "Yeah, I'm doing pretty good at this eye cut. I'll do these for you guys."
But
Yeah.
but then the other
Yep.
thing too is like I'm thinking, all right, the story is it's an interesting premise, but now these people are getting attacked by zombie fish and zombie starfish. The one girl, she has a starfish on her stomach. They're trying to pry it off, and I'm thinking, oh, this is gonna like transfer to humans. Now we're gonna have fucking human zombies, and this is where the gore is gonna happen.
Exactly. And I thought the same
No, they
No.
didn't even do
That's the same
that. They
And-
didn't even do
and that was
that.
the thing. Like I started to like
No.
like look at the time, and it was a pretty short movie, thank God. But I was looking at the time. I'm like, maybe at some point,
Yeah,
like
drag-
I'm
yeah,
waiting for the
dragged
big
on, though.
like the big like reveal. Like there's gonna be like one mayhem scene right at the end where like they didn't even show those sea otters or whatever it was that attacked them dudes. Like at one point, I'm like, they didn't even show them. I was like, what the hell?
Nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing.
This
Nothing.
had potential.
It was it definitely, like I said, listen, when I read the synopsis before I watched it, I'm like, hey, this could be something fucking great. It might, maybe it'll turn out to be a cult following like Zombievers. Like Zombievers was one of those movies you're like, this is fucking dumb. But you know what? It turned out
Yeah,
to
it
be
was.
fucking hilarious. It's one of those movies that I watched
So
it at
over the
least
top.
3 times
So
because
over
it
the
was
top.
funny as
Yeah.
fuck. Right. And I'm thinking that's what this is going to be.
That's what
Not
I was
even
hoping
close.
for when I saw the
Not even
trailer,
close.
and
They-
I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be some good shit. Stupid, cheesy.
So many missed
Yeah.
opportunities. So many missed opportunities. And I'm not sure
Budget?
why. Was it because, the production? Is it budget? Was it production? Was it the writer saying, hey, I meant this to be a serious movie or something? I don't
It was too
Yeah,
serious.
for a
so
B
I would
movie,
say I'd
they-
blame it on.
I
like, the
feel like it
director.
was taking itself too
Yeah, because
seriously.
especially the final scene. The final
The
scene
whole
seemed like it
scene-
was like
That's
tried
what
to
I
be
mean.
like a Hollywood
Yeah.
production. I'm like what is all this? What's the
Yeah, like Mission Impossible.
The whole scenes with Vivica A. Fox in that office trying to get the security cameras working, it was just a waste of fucking time. They spent too much money. Probably you're probably right. It was probably on paying her.
they didn't.
Or the CGI. Nowadays that stuff kind of is expensive. And the thing about it is the creatures didn't look
Yeah.
crappy. They just moved in a robotic way because they weren't. The budget wasn't quite what it probably
Sure.
should have been for that. And you could have got around that by turning it into a gore fest with some practical effects. You could have had, the computer fucking walrus or computer octopus, but you could have thrown in, just tentacles and shit that were practical with some blood and gore. And
Yeah.
but somebody fucked up there, and I don't know if
And that goop shit was like, it looked
Yeah,
like
that- I didn't
understand that. I was
like, what the hell's the
because
goop?
it probably-
Yeah,
it
the
was
goop.
during
dude,
COVID.
you
It was during
Ah.
COVID, so they probably
Right.
my yeah, that's probably right. The thing is, my nieces can make fucking slime at home. I'm sure a special effects guy can make fucking slime.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't even slime; it was just like hand gel.
Oh, and it was shot during the pandemic, so maybe they had a hard time finding people that were willing to come like get in the aquarium and work with non-masked people or whatever. I don't know.
The other thing too, being out here in Los Angeles and talking to a lot of people that work in and around the movie industry. Like I got this friend that we went to dinner with a couple weeks ago. He's a set designer, and he talks a lot about how Hollywood isn't quite what you think it is. Like, there are movies out there that get made because they're funded by some billionaire who's trying to write off some loss. And they intentionally make a shit B movie to lose money so that he can write off losses on some game that he made somewhere else. Right?
So maybe this is one of those projects?
I think this may be one of those fucking projects,
Yeah.
We're like, it's just like, hey, I got a bunch of money. Let's make a shitty film so I can write it off as a loss. Maybe. I don't know. All I know is that, it felt a little bit long because it wasn't that good. I looked at my watch a couple times.
I almost.
Yep. I would look at my watch a couple times, and there were so many of those moments where it was like, I felt like I got Charlie Brown, like I got Lucy'd.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, this is going to be fucking great. This scene is going to be awesome.
For sure.
And it turned to shit. And I felt like they were setting me up to be fucking disappointed. And I got up at least twice to start making dinner because I'm like, I'm not gonna, I can't really invest in getting Charlie Brown every 10 minutes.
Same here. I kept waiting. I'm like, oh, this is it. This is when they're finally. And I'm like, oh, you just wasted a good scene with there could have been like animal guts flying around and.
It could have been awesome. And here's the thing. Here's the teller, right? Go to IMDb. It's got a 2 stars out of 10.
Yeah. I didn't want to.
Like, it is. This. Out of all the films that we've watched, there's only one that I would call worse than this.
All the Devils Are Here?
You guys know which one that is. Right.
Hey, I picked that one, too.
That's the only one that's worse than this one.
But I picked this one expecting a cheesy B movie. And it was a B movie. It just wasn't a very good one.
Right.
There's certain things you expect when you're watching a B movie, right? You're expecting bad acting. You're expecting,
absolutely.
shitty practical effects, but funny because they're shitty. We didn't have any of that.
Listen, and the thing is, there are a lot of great fucking B movies. Look, Toxic Avenger, Zombievers, fucking Romeo and Juliet. There's a lot of shit B movies out there that are just fucking great because they're either
Basket Case,
Basket Case, another fucking great one, because it's so fucking bizarre or so fucking over the top that you're like, I'm gonna watch this again. This was fucking hilarious. I'm gonna watch it again.
Killer Clowns,
Killer
Clowns, I guess.
Killer Clowns is definitely a B movie, but that was a fantastic fucking movie. Original story, great premise, which this had. Original story. Who wrote a fucking about a bacteria that turns dead sea life, reanimates dead sea life? That's a fucking great premise, right?
Yeah, it wasn't handled well.
It just fell flat on its face because it didn't get handled well. You're absolutely right. Maybe in the hands of someone like fucking the guys from Troma Pictures could have made something great with it. And I really expected something great with it. And I didn't cheat. Like I didn't look at the ratings from any other.
Me neither.
I just was like, let's go in head first and see how it is. And I was thoroughly and completely disappointed.
This was our first stinker in a while. We've had some good ones. This is our first stinker.
I will never forget All the Devils Are Here. That's the only film that we didn't even finish. We didn't even finish watching it. We didn't even finish watching it. So I'm going to say, look, nothing against the actors. A lot of the acting was pretty good. That lead girl, I don't know what her name was. She was playing it like a serious film. She was a good actor.
And those 2 dudes who were like the comic relief, they were pretty good.
Actors. They were really good. They did their parts
what they had to work with. Yeah,
the guy that played the investor, the chairman of the board of the aquarium.
Yeah, he looked familiar. I think I've seen him in shit before.
I was gonna look him up, and I was like, I'm not even gonna bother because I was so disappointed in the fucking movie. But I'm like, he had to be. Let's see, what was he in? Was he in something else? Where the hell is he?
All right, since I picked it, I'll go. I'll give the review first. I'm gonna go 1.5.
I'll I'm gonna go with a 1.
Okay. I bumped it up to a half because I did enjoy, like, there was a couple funny parts with those two dudes in it. But I was disappointed.
All right, I'm the decider. I'm gonna go 1. Yeah,
1 star. Yeah. So,
Like I said, I almost did turn it off.
Yeah, if
And it was certainly not.
yeah,
I
that
may
guy
have turned
was
it
in.
off.
That guy was in nothing. That
really,
we've seen.
yeah, he looked
Yeah.
familiar.
He did, but he was in nothing.
Yeah, if it wasn't me that picked it and I wasn't hoping for one grand scene at the end, I probably would have turned it off. But oh well.
Yeah, I think this was borderline one of those films that I did almost turn off, but I muscled through it until the end, and the end was interesting too, where she's like, take this guy into custody, and and the fireman's like, we can't do that. We're just here to take people that are injured and take them to the hospital.
Punches him in the
and then
face.
She just punch him in the fucking face, and he goes, "That'll do." Yeah.
So we'll give it a 1, huh?
A 1 star. This is an American Nightmare podcast. One of those rare moments of a 1-star review. I think the only other one we had was All the Devils Are Here. That was a 1-star review because we
Both
couldn't
mine.
even finish the film.
Both mine.
You look at you. You're batting 1,000.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. That's our review of Aquarium of the Dead. Let me just say, I want to thank all of our listeners. I looked, I first of all, I want to take a moment to apologize for the last month's episode. The audio quality was horrific. You can blame all of that on Chris. You can actually send all of your hate mail.
Blame it on Asus. Blame it on Asus, not me.
No. We're going to send all of your hate mail to Chris. That is criffdog@gmail.com. That's CRIFFDOG@gmail.com. Send all your hate mail to Chris over that.
Please don't.
Chris
I'm
went out
sensitive.
and had the gall. Listen, he had the gall to buy a new laptop. How dare he?
It was a Prime
How
Day
dare he
special.
buy a new laptop.
It's a Prime Day special.
Prime Day special Asus laptop that had some fucking AI in it for its microphone that just made for a miserable podcast.
It did, but I got it fixed. I fixed it.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. I did spend some time trying to correct it, but there was nothing I could do with that audio. I tried a bunch of different things. Other than spending time to
that would've been
meticulously
difficult.
cut out each echo that was in there, which I was not about to do that. Yeah, so I just went ahead and published it. I apologize for anyone that couldn't find a way through that episode. This shit
it was
happens.
the best.
We had one
It
of
was
our
the
best
best.
episodes in the history of the podcast just got completely erased accidentally.
Yeah.
So this shit
Please
happens.
don't send me hate mail.
When we are not pros, this is the shit that goes wrong. But I want to thank all of our listeners because regardless of the fact that we didn't have a new episode
Nice.
until just last week, people were still downloading old episodes all last month. So I'm pleasantly delighted and surprised to see all that. I also want to thank, we have officially now 275 subscribers. That means the minute I publish a show, I see 275 downloads. That means they're automated subscribers. Thank all of you for listening and subscribing. Tell your friends, tell your family, let them know that if they're into horror movies, we like to blab a little bit about what's going on in the horror movie news and do a review and a top 5. And if you have a suggestion for a top 5 or a suggestion for a movie that we should watch and review, send that email to feedback@the-american-nightmare.com, and we will take your top 5 list, take your movie review recommendation, and we will run with it.
See you next month.
So thank you
Peace.
again, everyone that listens, and you'll hear from us next month. Thanks, everyone.
All right.